So today we're out in the wood shop. We're getting ready to build some furniture for the house. Specifically, we need to build a roll-around cart for our vac master, which, you know, we'll do a whole video on, so we won't go into detail there. But one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to need to be clamping a lot of plywood together at 90-degree angles so we can do our pocket screws and joinery. I looked at the corner clamps online. They're pretty cool. You can buy them for, you know, 40, 50, 100 bucks. But then I saw one gentleman on YouTube that made his own out of plywood. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make 4, probably 6-ish inch each way corner clamps. So those will be used with regular spring clamps. And we'll show you how they work as we get going. But you use a regular spring clamp like this in the corner to hold that together while you do your pocket joinery. So come on along while we get going. First thing we're going to do is we're going to just kind of lay one out and see how wide we want to rip the plywood on the table saw. I don't think there's any right way or wrong way here, or well, I know there's not really. It's all on what you want. You could have some bigger ones for large, you know, furniture, smaller ones for small things. So we're going to sit here and we're going to lay this out. I'm going to see if we can get you a better view. Let's try that. Yeah, so you can see we're working with a piece of 3/4 inch birch plywood, and you know what we're thinking is we want to come out about 6 inches like this, and about 6 inches like that, and go across at a 45. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think I might want to go 8 inches. So we're going to set the table saw up to rip 8 inches wide, and I believe we can get 4 out of one rip. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to rip it probably about 9 inches or 8.5, and then we're going to come back and take this edge off because it's got a defect right there. So hold on while we get you set up at the table saw, and you can watch us do that. Okay, so we're going to set our table saw for 8.5 inches. And this measurement is only so critical because we're going to trim it again at 8. And again, as I mentioned, there's really no right or wrong here. We want 4 of these that match just for cosmetic reasons to hang on the wall. Then later on we'll make 4 large ones for bigger furniture. So we're going to go ahead and run this through. Set our piece aside. And now we're going to set our saw for 8 inches, and we're going to run through one more time. And then we're going to move over to our miter box and cut these as a 45. Another upcoming video here, we're going to be doing a big outfeed table / assembly table around the table saw. Thinking we're probably going to end up being about 6 feet wide and probably an additional 4 to 5 feet beyond the table. So we're shooting for something almost 8 feet square. So that'll be kind of a cool video. All right, we're going to go through the other way to trim this up at a nice true 8 inches. We'll meet you back over at the miter saw so we can cut the 45s. Okay, so we don't really need to measure much here because we're going to go from this corner into a 45. So we're going to set our saw for 45. We got a new miter saw coming. This one's a little bit beat up, needs a little love, and it also, being a sliding miter saw of the older style, takes up a lot of space. So we're trying a new one. We'll show you that in a whole nother video. So we're set up for 45. And basically what I want to do is I want to come just into the corner, just about like that. And then we're just going to keep going. We're going to cut square across, and we'll cut another 45. So now we've got some nice corners. What we're going to do now is we're going to take all the sharp points off on the edges out here, and then we're going to cut a pretty good flat right here, so when you're putting it into the corner of your work, if there's some sawdust or something there, it doesn't catch. So to do that, we're going to leave the saw set at a 45. Probably do 2 at once. Now we're just going to eyeball this, because again, there's no real right or wrong way. You could put a stop in, you could make a mark. Our goal is to have about a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch flat. Just like that. So we'll show you why we're doing that in a minute. Okay, and now we're going to nub off these corners. So we're going to set our saw back square. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to basically make a 1/2 inch flat. Like that. I guess that's more like a 1/4 inch flat. So now what we have to do is we have to make some holes in these for the spring clamps. So we've got a hole saw we're going to use, and we're going to make 2 holes. So we're going to lay this out, figure out what we want, and then we'll be right back and show you how we drill this. It's always nice to have a scrap piece of wood to drill into instead of the workbench. Go ahead and clamp this down, and we're going to drill our first hole. Now once we've got one, what we'll do is we'll use that as a template to drill the rest. Alright, so now that we got all of our holes drilled, we're going to go ahead and reroute all the edges just to take off any sharp edges. I've got my router set up here. Again, when we get the outfeed table done, we'll get a nice router table, we'll get it set up. It's kind of a chicken and egg thing, you know, you get the wood shop framed up, trying to unpack all the woodworking tools, trying to find some stuff to build some stuff. So pay no attention to the way I've actually got it mounted. So we're going to show you, we're going to route one of these out, and then we'll come back and show you what we're going to do after that. we can't wait for dust collection. That will be another great thing. So now we're just going to sand these down with some 100 grit, I'm sorry, on the sander and get them ready. We are going to put a coat of finish on these. You really don't need to, but we're going to, just to keep them looking a little better. Alright, so we've cut our 6 pieces out. So now we're going to show you how they actually work, or how we use them. So let me grab a scrap of plywood. Okay, so we got a sheet of plywood here. We got another board that we're going to pretend is a scrap of plywood. So we want to fasten these together like this is our goal. We want this edge flush. So if we put this up here like this, you see, and then we put a spring clamp on it. If we put that up there like that and put a spring clamp on it, like that, then we can put another spring clamp on the bottom. And then we can take our little wooden mallet when we're ready, and we can fine tune that just like that. And that will hold it in place while we put our pocket screws in or glue or whatever we're doing. So it's just a little corner clamp. Like I said, you can buy the ones that have clamps that screw in on the sides. These spring clamps are really way too big for this. They're just the ones I grabbed to show what we're doing. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to put a coat of finish on these and have them ready, and we'll bring you back and show you those when we build the roll around cart for the VacMaster. So appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.